Hello everyone, I'm presenting my research plan on the effects of student-centered instruction on student academic achievement. Public schools today are placing heavy emphasis on reading proficiency, especially in the elementary grades, but something that should be looked at is how to achieve reading proficiency. There's a vast amount of research that backs up the argument of student engagement affecting a student's academic achievement, and also the type of instruction used in the classroom affects students' academic growth. This proposal intends to investigate whether student engagement in the classroom influences students' academic achievement and determine if a student-centered approach has a positive effect on students' academic growth as well. The problem this study will address is again lack of student engagement in the classrooms. Students who are not engaged are less likely to retain any information presented to them, and students must also put forth an effort to engage themselves. Teachers can be positive and inviting all day, but if they're implementing activities and the students are not putting forth an effort to engage themselves, it's not going to be beneficial. Researchers identified that students with off-task behaviors affect not only their own academic progress, but also other students' ability and the teacher's ability to teach effectively. If you look at this graph closely, you'll see that it is correlating between conduct grade and reading grades. So the blue is representing the reading grade and orange represents the conduct. This graph was gathered from some students at Duck Springs Elementary in the kindergarten and first grade classes. None of the students observed were known to have any type of disability. The graph is just showing a relation between good conduct and higher reading scores, and then low conduct and lower reading scores. The conduct that was tallied was strictly taken away for not being engaged in the lessons or activities. The teachers took away points when they saw that students were not engaging themselves to see how effective it was on their understanding of the content. This experiment does not focus on behavior, but the graph helps to present a relation between engagement and higher achievement. The more the instruction is centered around students, the more likely students are to engage themselves. Time is limited during a teacher's day, so dealing with students who do not engage themselves is frustrating and causes a difficult situation. Teachers do need to provide student-centered activities and let them play a big role in their own learning to encourage them to participate. Quantitative methods for collecting data will be used for this experiment. The research plan will include a group of students chosen at random from Duck Springs Elementary. The research plan will last for 9 weeks, and students will participate in either a teacher-centered or student-centered classroom. STAR assessments and reports will be used to test the research, and the main goal is just to prove that there is a benefit to student-centered instruction. And some of the teachers at Duck Springs will be asked to utilize a student-centered approach in their classrooms with their students. This approach allows students to be more in control of their own learning and to also work at a pace that's more comfortable for them. Researchers of the study described a student-centered classroom as one that requires students to hold responsibility for their own learning, but to work at a pace that's best suited for them. Another study was conducted on Finnish teachers to assess how they supported student engagement and positive self-image in their classrooms. When the study was completed, the researchers found that teachers must build a safe community around the students before learning will ever take place. Some research also supports the idea that students favor a student-centered approach to teaching because it's more engaging for them and helps them to learn better. Researchers also suggested that there are 3 aspects of student engagement: effective engagement, which includes students' sense of belonging; engagement, which refers to the time they spend on task; and cognitive engagement, which includes perseverance and the students' use of metacognition. All of these aspects play a huge role in a student-centered classroom. Teachers can create a student-centered classroom that places responsibility on the students, and they can provide a positive learning environment that helps encourage them to participate more. After examining the students' 2019-2020 STAR reports at Duck Springs, and with most of the teachers admitting that their classroom did not have student-centered approaches, the correlation is high that lack of student engagement could be the cause of poor reading achievement, Therefore, this study will test the hypothesis by implementing student-centered approaches in the classrooms and monitoring the students' growth throughout the study. Since the students at Duck Springs are scoring below benchmark, the link between engagement and academic achievement needs to be examined more closely. So the plan in the study is to implement, again, student-centered approaches with their teaching and determine the effect it has on students. The participants will either be in a teacher-centered or student-centered classroom based on which experimental group they're in. And after the 9 weeks, the results from the STAR assessment will help to determine how effective the experiment was. Duck Springs Elementary consists of students from pre-K up to 6th grade. Pre-K will not participate in this experiment because they do not take part in the STAR assessments. So therefore, this experiment will only consist of students in kindergarten through 6th grade. A sample of 60 students will be chosen at random to observe at the end. 10 students from each grade will be observed, and the population consists of 202 total students, 3.5% being American Indian, 4% Black, 3% Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, and the majority, which is 84.2%, being white. Again, the research experiment will be conducted through quantitative study. The STAR reports will be analyzed and used for the study, and the sample of the 60 students at the end, their reports will be observed and analyzed to determine how effective it was. So again, each student in K through 6 will participate. They will take the STAR reading or early literacy, whichever one pertains to them. And then following the assessment, the students will participate in either a student-centered or teacher-centered classroom for 9 weeks. There's little to no risk for the students participating, but informed consent will be gathered from parents since the participants are minors. To protect their identity, the students will be assigned numbers rather than to referring to their name. And the results from this could positively impact future instruction at Duck Springs. The independent variable for the study will be student-centered instruction. The first group, which is SC1, will consist of student-centered instruction, utilizing small groups and engaging activities. The second group, TC2, will consist of teacher-centered classroom, in which the teacher is the main facilitator. The dependent variable will be student engagement. The treatment for the study is student-centered instruction, and the assessment that is used is the STAR reading and early literacy. The study will begin following the first round is given at the very beginning of the year, so students are still getting used to the new year, the new teacher, and the new class. So to get more accurate results, we decided to begin it at the middle, so that they're already well adjusted to the year. Throughout the experiment, the teachers will be responsible for providing either the teacher-centered or student-centered instruction, along with the appropriate activities. The study will go over through 9 weeks, and the STAR test will be given again following the 9-week study. The current data will be compared to the initial results of the assessment, and this will help determine how well student engagement does affect academic growth. Just a few definitions here. Again, the STAR Renaissance Learning is the online assessment that the students will take on the computers. Student-centered instruction, again, is where the students are more in control and there's lots of hands-on activities. Teacher-centered means that the teacher is the main facilitator. And then SC1 refers to the student-centered group, and TC2 refers to the teacher-centered group. Let's see. Again, the STAR reading and early literacy will be given prior to the research. This determines their reading skills and places students on a benchmark scale. The assessments will be given again at the end of the 9-week study and will help to determine the effectiveness of our research experiment. Our main goal is to determine whether student engagement affects student academic achievement. Again, the assessments measure students' reading skills by asking them a variety of questions, but it also places them on a benchmark scale to show which level of understanding they are at. The same test will be given to all students. Teachers will also submit weekly lesson plans to ensure that the appropriate activities are being implemented. The goal of the classroom teachers is to encourage more student participation in the classroom. The reading will both have a big role. They will all be working closely to ensure the right activities are taking place, and the administrator and reading coach both will help in assisting to make sure all students are STAR tested as well. So again, this is the same thing. The reading coach will help the teachers grasp a better understanding of what activities are accessible in improving student engagement in the classrooms. The Etowah County Board of Education also oversees all STAR testing in the county, so they help to make sure that all students are tested when they are supposed to be. Some limitations regarding this experiment could be uncontrollable and unplanned as usual. If a student's absent, they may miss the test and have to make it up, or they may miss class information that could affect their test score in the long run. Also, if a student asks to be removed from the study, it may result in a limitation at the end of the data results. And then here are the references that were used. Let's see, skip through these. And then also, there are forms needed for this experiment. This is the permission to conduct research, and then the consent form that will be sent home to parents. Again, this is another form, authorization for a minor, and then the explanation of instrument implemented in the study. So these will all be sent home with the students participating, and parents or guardians will have to sign off on these. And then also here is the links to these forms if someone needs to view them. And then maybe this plan could be implemented once again at a different time of the year. This one took place in the middle of the year, but maybe doing it at the end would also help to get a wider variety of students' results, and just to test how effective student engagement really is on student academic achievement. I still believe that it does play a big role in students' success, but it would help to have another plan put into place maybe in a different year with a wider variety of students possibly, just to test how truly effective it is. But I do think that this, that again, student engagement does affect student achievement, and I think that a student-centered approach is very beneficial to students and to the teachers in improving their academic growth and keeping them engaged in the rooms. Thank you.